Halo Infinite has finally come out into the light, and now we've seen actual gameplay. This isn't a video bashing the 343 Industries and what we've seen. Lackluster visuals, weapon redesigns, monkeys, and movement elements aren't enough for me to warrant a rant. No, rather what I've seen is just a tale that seems to keep repeating itself. Expectations being set way too high for the product being promised. The Halo franchise has been in limbo for quite some time now, even though Infinite was announced about 2 years ago. What we knew was largely unknown, except for a return to a fan-preferred art style, the Bungie-era games. But 2 years without seeing any gameplay might be enough to keep even the most loyal fans hyped, but not me. No. Halo 5 was the first Halo I didn't play day one, and for good reason. 343 Industries has proven to be highly incompetent in delivering a Halo game that is well received by the fans. May I remind you that their first project wasn't even a game. It was a laughably bad anime anthology, Halo Legends. But I apologize. I'm not here to judge Halo Legends as shit as it is. It's a horrible anime, but let's keep on going. 343 Industries was created with a lot of hype because it was Frankie and half the team that worked on Halo 1 to 3 in the development team. Their first shot at doing Halo justice was Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. At this time, the hype train was quite strong with Halo, as Reach had barely been out for a year. Not to mention, remasters seemed to be all the rage at that point in history. But because its multiplayer was the Reach component, interest for CEA was less of a cultural event and more of a flavor of the month. So naturally, most Halo fans just went back to 3 and Reach to complain about Bloom. Let's fast forward a bit. Let's say year 2012. 343 Industries had announced Halo 4, and it was coming the same year. No beta, with an announcement of a release within a year's time span? Seems a bit sus, you know? Oh well. Fans were hungry as fuck for more Halo, and they ate it up, including me. I was hyped to the point of limited edition. Spoiler alert, it wasn't as limited as you think what limited is. So I took 2 days off at work just to play, and even had the express pass at EB Expo just so I didn't have to wait for 2 hours in line to play a game that would severely let me down in the long run. The campaign and story were fine, I suppose, but the relationship between Chief and Cortana changed and became a weird kind of anime love story. I'm catching a whiff of Halo Legends here, and ultimately, they created a villain that would end up being killed off in the comic series, but the bread and butter of the Halo series is multiplayer. It's like they took a massive dump on the franchise, killing effectively off both the casual and competitive groups of its fan base. It was almost like 343 Industries never did any internal testing. Loadouts where you could have a weapon that was better than the shotgun? What the fuck was that all about? And the precision weapons were trash compared to the DMR? Promethean power weapons broke the sandbox balance? Ordnance? I think Ordnance was a really ridiculous decision choice. Because of how Microsoft handled updates for the 360, when issues were taking months to be resolved and fan feedback was being lost, the population quickly dropped in the first 2 months. It's a damn shame because they had the best Forge mode, besides the fact that there was always lighting and loading when you had to switch between player and monitor. It was the best Forge at the time, and Spartan Ops was a decent promise and a free way to keep fans coming back. It's a shame they really missed the mark on Spartan Ops because that's when it really started to create this bitter monster. And it sounds like another beloved sci-fi franchise that I know of. Does that sound like anything you guys know of to date? Now everyone knew 2014 would mark 10 years of Halo 2, so it was widely speculated that Halo 2 Anniversary was going to be released soon. But the faith was renewed in the fan base when Master Chief was announced it wouldn't just be Halo 2 Anniversary, but Combat Evolved Anniversary, 3, 4, and later ODST and Reach. Fanbase was once again back on the hype train. Then the launch came. The blur pre-rendered cutscenes were beautiful and met the expectations. But naturally, something hilariously went wrong with everybody's favorite number company. The game didn't even work at launch and was largely unplayable when Halo 5 launched. Matchmaking took hours to find a match, and here we are. We're now at 3 strikes with 343 Industries. And after the nostalgia wore off, the fan base went back to being divided and hating on the company that had promised to meet their expectations. But after 2 years, they managed to get the matchmaking to work, and they still support it to the day at the time of making this video. So I guess it's cool they're doing their obligation and providing the product that was advertised at launch. Back then, most companies would just say, oh well, just buy our next game. It fixes everything there. 2015. Halo 5 just had its beta in January, and feedback was heard. We got a great marketing campaign of the Hunt of Truth, and we would be back playing as Master Chief with Blue Team. Fred, Kelly, Linda, what could go wrong? With a new game mode and bringing in seasons for the arena, basically competitive from Reach, but done right. So once again, the community was back on the hype train. But wait, launch day. First thing people notice is how bare bones the menu is. No Forge. Oh, it's alright guys, it's coming. In 2 months. Well then, it's a bit of a slap to the face. Well, I guess I'll play a bit of campaign. What the fuck? It's not split screen? That won't backfire at all. I need me a game in multiplayer. It's fun. Interesting. Warzone. It's pretty cool. What's this? Rec packs. Oh, pay to win. Well, that's disappointing. I can imagine someone playing that mode today for the first time when all these chads with Achilles armor are staunching on some poor guy because he doesn't have anything unlocked yet. But the multiplayer outside Warzone was actually quite solid. I was impressed with the post-launch support and played it well until the Australian population had moved on. While the game was particularly unpalatable at launch, I think the moment that killed it for the fan base is right here. Talking about its campaign. They completely went the wrong direction. And now 343 Industries is doing everything they can to undo the last 2 games' campaigns. It was pretty much the last chance for 343 Industries to deliver an authentic Halo experience. But why am I going through the history of 343 Industries and I'm not applying Halo Wars 2 here to warn you of the dangers of the hype surrounding these 343 Industries? We saw what happened with Disney and the Star Wars franchise in a short amount of time. I won't defend 343 Industries and their poor decisions with the franchise so far. Infinite has shown us nothing of value so far. Cautious optimism is how I'd go about this. If 343 is consistent, then we will see another launch mired with problems. Who knows what will come at launch or what won't come at launch? While you shitters will cry about the graphics, sprint, and the grapple hook, I think a far greater concern will be what kind of content will be locked behind a paywall. If there's some truly pay-to-win feature, or if it doesn't have multiplayer at launch. While they might have had 5 years between games, it's really closer to 2 years, given how much focus they've had on the MCC and bringing it to PC, Halo Wars 2, and Halo 5. I'm just saying. We saw how bad the hype for a game subsequently killed them. Looking at you, No Man's Sky, Battlefront 2, Battlefield 4, Anthem, just games to say off the top of my head recently. But hey, those games eventually turned around and got good, right? So maybe 343 Industries will nail it out the gate on this one. But if history has said anything about this company, lower your expectations and hope that we get something fun and playable as, hell, say Doom Eternal. That released this year. Because I'm hungry for some fun games. And it feels like it's been a long time since we had something genuinely enjoyable that held interest longer than a few weeks. Anyway, leave you on that note.